Welcome to the weekly workshop episode 3. Today's episode is going to focus on materials and some general projects, as well as some information about the 100 subscriber giveaway. So for those of you that don't know, I recently went to Surrey Timbers and picked up a load of wood, so I'm going to put a clip in now which will show you all of the wood I received. So let's have a look. We've got a piece of elm. I've got about 40 pieces of small wood here, so I'm not going to go through them all. Piece of poplar. Some ash, spindle blank. Some panga pen turning blanks. As you can probably guess, a new project will be coming on that. Some mango. Half of these woods I don't know what they are yet. Some, not sure what that is, maybe walnut, I don't know. Zebrano. There's some that are obvious, some that aren't. I think this is probably hard maple, something like that. Bit of wild mango with this lovely knot here. I've got a lot, as you can see. Here are two of my favourites, a piece of walnut and probably my favourite, a piece of padauk. I've never worked with padauk, always wanted to, so I decided I'd get myself a small piece. This lovely bit of oak or ash, I'm not sure, I think it's oak though, we're going to say it's oak anyway. And then just move this piece of sapele. I love sapele. Bit of ash or oak, I'm assuming it's ash again. Oak, sorry. Another big bit of sapele. A bit of, I'm not sure what this is actually. I'm guessing oak or something like that. We're getting very fun on this workbench. And then this is the last piece. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm guessing oak or something similar. That is all the wood. So there's going to be a lot of projects coming using all this material. As you can see, I got a lot of wood for my money, which is fantastic. And I'm really excited to be turning some more bowls with it. I've already turned a couple of bowls. So the video that was uploaded yesterday, I made a really nice wild mango bowl. And I really liked that project. It was a bit of fun. And I got to use my new finish that I made. I'm going to be doing a video next week all about how I made that handmade wax finish. It's very simple, but leaves a really nice sheen to the outside of a bowl, and it also works really well. Something I've done in the past is experimental wood finishes. I'll link a video up at the top to show you what I did then, but I've had a go at making some coffee finish. So this is an old saucepan that I use for making my finishes and things. So this has got some coffee powder with some hot water in it, and that's going to sit for a few days. And in here we have some old ginger tea bags with some water, and it's got a really nice, if I mix it up again, sort of like a orangey greeny kind of colour to it, which is quite cool. So I'm going to be making 2 poplar bowls and trying to use these finishes. So I'll make one with the coffee finish and one with the ginger finish. Here's the piece of poplar I've got. It's nice and thick. I think it's about 40 millimeters thick. Let's have a look. It is, yeah, 40 millimeters thick. It's got a big crack here, so we'll just stop before this knot. So I'll get 2 bowl blanks out of this, and it's got some nice figure and grain to it as well. If you do a lot of wood turning, you'll recognise this stuff. Sawdust. It is everywhere in my workshop. I have buckets and buckets and buckets of sawdust. So in about a week's time there's going to be a video all about what to do with your sawdust. Probably 10 things to do with sawdust. I've got some cherry sawdust, oak sawdust, sapele sawdust, mango sawdust. I've got tons of sawdust and I want to get rid of it somehow, so I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do with it. Some of the sawdust has got a really nice colour to it, so I'm going to show you some arty things you can do with that as well. So that's what's going to happen with the sawdust. I'm also going to have a go at turning a panga pen next week. That's going to be quite a challenge because I've never turned a pen, but I've got these panga pen blanks that I'm going to have a go at using. So I'm excited to give that a go as well. I also glued up another bowl blank. If I grab that, this is a walnut, sapele and walnut bowl. So we've got a light piece of walnut here, a piece of sapele and a piece of walnut. They're actually both pieces of walnut, but this one's got a lot more sap in it, which is why it's lighter in colour. And then we've got a nice thick piece of sapele in the middle. So that bowl I'm going to be making for my brother. I got him to choose the 3 woods that he wanted me to make it with. And then I've got this bit which I need to glue for the faceplate section. I will eventually get around to making some paperclip pots with these plywood bits of wood, but to be honest, at the moment I'm quite happy just turning bowls, so that will happen soon. I've just got to get round to doing it. Whilst I'm doing this vlog, I thought I would at least show you the handmade finish. So this white one is a mixture of scented candles and some plain wax, and that gives a really nice smell to the bowls. Now this one I particularly like. This is a cinnamon wax finish. It gives a slightly red tinge to the bowl, which is really cool. They're both very simple to make. All you really need is some way of melting wax. That's literally it, and a container. I just used a plastic Tupperware container, but you could use anything. And then for this one, I just used an old piece of plastic. It doesn't really matter what you put it in. But it's a good way to use up old candles and bits of wax that you can no longer use. And it's also a way of making free wax finish, which is really nice. I just keep it in this bag to stop it interacting with all the other smells and things in the shed. Currently the whole shed smells of oak because I just turned an oak bowl, which was really interesting to turn that oak bowl. I tried a Shoshigi Bon finish on the outside, which I've never done before, and actually found it really, really cool. So I'm definitely going to have a go at doing another Shoshigi Bon finish. I might have a go at doing something on this elm bowl blank. I don't know what I'm going to do with this elm bowl blank yet. I want to do something a bit different to what I usually do. I quite like the grain pattern in this anyway. It's quite straight, but it's quite interesting. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but definitely something interesting. So here's the details for the 100 subscriber giveaway. I've written them on the whiteboard so I don't forget. So the giveaways, the first thing would be a custom design and make keyring, which I'll just go and show you now. I've got 3 of these keyrings, so I will give away 2 and keep 1 for myself. So there we go, they've just got the custom design and make light bulb on them. There you go, I've got 2 of those here. So they will be the first thing. So if you want to enter for that, all you need to do is subscribe and comment keyring, simple as that. The other thing will be a project suggestion. So essentially what this will focus on is I'm going to ask for a project suggestion, and then I'll pick whichever project I think sounds the best or the most interesting. So if you want to see a project that you've suggested being made on the channel, all you need to do is comment your suggestion for a project and what wood I should use, and make sure you're subscribed. That's it. You can enter both of them if you wish, and I hope you enjoyed doing that. I will publish a proper video in about maybe Thursday or Sunday, and that will be the one that you actually need to comment on and interact with that video. So I hope you look forward to that. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your entries, and also looking forward to see who wins. So thanks for 100 subscribers, guys. If you have any specific questions for me, the best place to contact me is on Instagram, because I can respond fairly quickly on there. So Louis Wood asked if I would show all of my finishes that I have. So I've got this food safe finish from Chestnut Products. I'm a big fan of this. That's probably my favourite finish. I've got this acrylic satin lacquer that I used on my Union Jack project. I'll link that up at the top corner there. I've got this Danish oil, which I really like. I use this on my pallet wood planters, so I'll link that up at the top as well. And then these aren't so much a finish, they're more of a dye, but I really like these. So I've got a yellow, blue, is that blue? Yeah, blue, and red. These are made by Libron. I really like these, they're really good. They're quite expensive, but you get a lot in them, so they're really good. I use those on the Union Jack, and I'm also going to be using those to make another flag, and I also use them on the oak bowl. The last thing I use is this Carna crystalline wax. This is a really high gloss wax, which I used on my turned pieces. And last but not least, my handmade finish. So that's what I use at the moment for wood finishes. I do have a bit of leather polish, which I use occasionally, and then for metals I have Brasso, which I also use. So that's all of my finishes, and I keep them in my metalworking equipment sort of cabinet because it keeps them out of the way of the sun, and they're all at the same temperature in there, so it's quite useful having them in there. So they stay down there ready for the next project, and it keeps all the dust out of the way. So that's all my finishes. I hope you've had a quick look at those. If you have any suggestions of things you want me to go over in these workshop vlogs, please comment those down below, because I love showing you what I use, how I use them. I find that really interesting. Now, if you're interested in seeing me make a really, really tiny knife project, I'm going to be doing a video if there's enough interest in that. So, I have this very thin piece of steel. I know it's not the best metal in the world, this bit of mild steel, but it's a bit of fun. I have made a small knife with it before, but I want to have another go. So it will literally be a tiny sort of fruit knife thing. It might not actually get used for fruit, it'll be used for making my handmade finishes, so for chopping all of those bits up. So when I make the beetroot dies and blackberry dies and things, when I have to chop them all up. So I've got this piece of mild steel. Somewhere here I have some bits of wood I've got knife scales for. So I thought it might be quite an interesting video to have a go at making a small fruit knife. So I would use that steel and then use the knife blanks that I've got, and maybe do some sort of leather sheath on it. I'm just looking up at the knife box I've got up there, and hopefully that'll make a really interesting project. So if you'd like to see that, please tell me in the comment section below, because your feedback's the best feedback, because you're the ones who watch my videos. So if you want to see things, comment them and I'll give them a go. As you saw in a previous video where I made an organiser for my resin, I do have some resin, so I'm going to be doing a video on resin in about 2 or 3 weeks time. The reason for it being so long is I've got to properly plan it, look up some videos, get some knowledge on how to use resin before I dive straight in. I think I'm going to have a go at making a bowl with some resin, but first of all I'm just going to make a tiny little coaster using just resin, because before I go into something I don't really know how to do, I'd rather do a small scale test with it rather than going straight in onto a big bowl blank. But I have a cracked piece of timber that I'm going to use. I'll just go and get that so you can have a look at that. So I've got this lovely piece of oak here. As you can see, it's got some big cracks in it. So the plan is to fill this with resin and turn probably the biggest bowl I've ever turned out of this. I think that would be a really cool project. I might try and include some of this wood here, but I have a feeling it could crack off quite easily because it's very brittle. But I really think that'd be a really cool project to make a bowl using timber that I've cut and harvested myself, and using resin, which I've never worked before. So that should be a really cool project. Also, I forgot to say, apologies for no video last week on the workshop vlog. I was taking a bit of time off doing the YouTube thing and going out for some cycle rides, so that was why there was no workshop vlog and a bit of a delay in projects last week. Although I have made loads of projects, so I've got loads of turning videos coming out and a couple of normal woodworking projects. And then Sunday I might put 2 videos out, or do one on Saturday, one on Sunday. One of them will be a log candle holder. It's going to be a very short video, about 2-3 minutes, something like that. Really short video, but thought it might be quite cool to see because it's turned out of green wood. Unfortunately it did crack, but I still think it's a cool video, so I'll put that out there. And then if I do publish 2 videos, I'll probably turn another bowl or something similar. Or I might go and turn a garden dibber, because I've had someone ask if I would make a garden dibber for them, so that might get a video out on Sunday or Saturday. We'll see what happens. If I do make the gardener's dibber, it will probably be made out of ash or something like that, because I've got these really good spindles of ash here, and this is about the right length. I'll take probably 40mm off of it, but that's a good length for the gardener's dibber, so I'll probably turn it out of this piece of ash because it saves me having to glue anything up. So that's probably what's going to happen with this piece of ash. Okay, so here's the log candle holder. You can see massive crack down here, big crack here, cracks on the top as well. Now there's a couple of reasons why that happened. One, I didn't use any end seal on the log before I put it on the lathe, so that's the main reason. But then again, it's also because I didn't try and dry it out properly. I literally just made it, put a candle in it, lit it, didn't bother doing any sort of sealing on it, which was the main reason why it didn't really work. But if I was to do it again, which I probably will, I just need to make sure I seal it, and then once I've actually put it on the lathe, put it in a big bowl of sawdust or something to absorb some of the water. Or you can put them in the microwave, I've heard. Not sure if I'm going to try that one yet, but there's ways of drying things out. Also, this planter I made about 2 months ago, I think. It's still holding up fairly well. It's got these nails in it for a rustic look. It's just got simple butt joints, but it's also got my sort of way of waterproofing it, so some black plastic around it. It's OSB, old scraps of OSB with some little feet on the bottom. One thing I'm a big fan of at the moment is these emery strip rolls. These are fantastic for sanding on the lathe because they've got this fabric backing, so they don't rip and tear like normal sandpaper. So as you can see, if I try and rip that, it's quite hard to rip, and you can see the frayed edges. So you cut it, and it's really, really useful when you're using it on the lathe because it's so much stronger and more versatile. And then the other one I use is 400 grit, so I've got 180 grit and 400 grit. 400 grit's perfect for when I'm using my wax finishes and the food safe oil. I tend to sand from 120-ish to 180 and then straight to 400. You should really go from something like 120, 180, 240, 320, something like that. But I don't have any 320 or 240 at the moment, so I just use what I have. But it works well for me, and it gives a nice finish to all my projects, so I'm happy using those at the moment. But just thought I'd recommend those. They are really, really good. I think it'd be really cool to try and put some grass in resin and make a grass and resin bowl. I don't know why, I just... Something about grass and resin sounds fun to me. I have mentioned it before, but when I reach 1,000 followers on Instagram, I'll be going live for about an hour or so. So if you want to see a big sort of video with loads of stuff in it, workshop tours, making projects, doing things in the background, answering the viewers' questions, that will happen when I reach 1,000 followers on Instagram. So if you want to see some cool stuff on Instagram, go and follow me there. I post every 3 or 4 days on there and post stories almost every day. Also, on the lines of social media stuff, I do have a Facebook which I've only just made, so I'm going to start updating that in the coming weeks, start to get that ready, start to really build the brand up. So Facebook will happen pretty soon. I have got a link to that though in the videos now, so you can have a look at that. Instagram, that's already going pretty well, but I'll link that as well. Pinterest, I don't use that much, but if you want to have a look at some of the things I've saved there, some of the project ideas, I'll link that down below as well. I might start using that a lot more though, because things like turning bowls, it's nice to see what other people do and take ideas from lots of projects and combine them. So yeah, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, I think that's it. Oh, and website. I've got a website as well, which I do post blogs on. I've only posted one, and then I posted sort of a viewers one, which is to see what people want me to make. So I'm going to try and publish a blog every month. They do take a while to write because they're about 1,500 words, something like that, which takes a while to proofread, make sure it's all good before I upload it. So hopefully I'll post one of those each month on something new. It will probably be about a project I've made on YouTube. So for example, the most recent one I did was on turning the cherry bowl, which was the first ever bowl I'd turned. So the next one might be on the Show Sugary Bon bowl, I don't know. It depends what I feel like doing. So that just about sums up this workshop vlog. I hope you've enjoyed this much longer style vlog, and I hope I've covered most of the things that people asked to see. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and make sure you're subscribed. Thanks.